Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei Lost Everything and Went Back in Time Part 7. Before we start, please go support AndresFelipeSolanoDi for writing that awesome fanfic. Now let's begin. This is the translated version I made. There will be some wrong he or she calling here because it's translated, so let me clear this. Issei is a male in this story. Chapter 40. Difficult Road. As the sounds of bullets echoed, Issei watched everything that was happening from a third-party perspective. Issei. Kurumi's family really, she sent everything she could to kill her. The god of chaos says that they are idiots who do not know the value of what they have. Issei. The goddess who represents them agrees with this kind of thing. The god of chaos says that most gods only seek their benefit when a special individual is born in the family that a certain god represents. If he cannot use the power of that individual in his favor, then he will ensure that no one else can use it. Issei. Is it really necessary to go to these extremes? The god of chaos says that the competition between the gods to rise in the ranking is fierce. Once you become a god, you must solidify your position so as not to be devoured by others. Issei. I thought the gods were only in charge of administering the world of the goddess Eden. The god of chaos says that becoming a god is only the beginning. The higher your position, the more benefits and power you will have. The influence you exert is much greater. When a god enters the top 10 of the most powerful gods, then he will have a solid foundation and a powerful force. Managing the world is a job that every god must do as a rule. But at the end of the day, all gods focus more on the ranking. Issei. I see, I guess the goddess Eden should be in first place. The god of chaos says that you are right and no one dares to doubt it. After all, that position will never change. Issei. For what purpose did they make the ranking? The god of chaos says that at the beginning of everything, when the ranking did not exist, everything was a disaster for the gods. There was no organization, there was only arrogance and fighting. Without the monarchical ranking system, everyone could have been condemned. Issei. I finally understand. It is the same as in the daily life of humans. If there is no one in power, then everything is chaos, since without leaders everything would be anarchy, and therefore the only thing left to do is trust each other. But not everyone has good intentions. In the end, a world without laws and standards is doomed to destruction. The god of chaos says it's right. Issei. What defines the top 10 of the most powerful gods in the ranking? The god of chaos says that many things include power and influence in the world. Also, if you want to climb the ranking faster, competitions are held between the families that are represented by the gods. Issei. Don't the gods fight among themselves? The god of chaos says yes, and that it is the fastest way to rise in the ranking. Of course, that happens outside the world, since his powers could cause catastrophes in the world, not to mention destroy it. Issei. I see. The god of chaos says that before he was in second place, one place behind the goddess Eden, but with his plan to abandon his position as a god, he was rejecting confrontations, and in the end he was placed in fifth place. Issei. Don't you have a big family like the goddess of the stars? The god of chaos fervently denies. He advanced in the ranking only by fighting other gods until he reached second place. The only member of his family is Kurumi, and for that reason, having only one way to rise in the ranking is the only way to stay in the top 10 was to fight himself. Issei. However, you remained in the number 5 position in the top. If you had been rejecting confrontations for a long time, you should not be lower. The god of chaos says that it was through the direct intervention of the goddess Eden. She said that although I am rejecting confrontations and have no influence in the world, my power is first class, so she approved of me remaining in the top 10. However, I would go down to the number 5 position as a punishment measure, with the possibility of going down further if I continued refusing to fight. Issei. And I suppose you have continued doing it. The god of chaos says that you are right, but it doesn't matter in the end because in the future he will abandon the position of god and no one can deny his power. At that, their conversation would end. Kurumi had finished killing them all, although it was only a small part. At least now she would have the opportunity to rest more. Kurumi. Mr. Fairy, did I do it right? Issei. You protected your life, Kurumi, you did very well. Smiles. Issei would continue the journey in Kurumi's spiritual world through the memories of the spiritual world, and that Kurumi, who in this memory was in a rented room lying on a bed, spoke to him. Kurumi. Mr. Fairy. Issei. Yes. Kurumi. Because every time the frequency in which he talks to me is less. Issei. Hey. Kurumi. Am I not doing it right? Issei. What do you mean? Kurumi. I wasn't kidding about that. We have spent days without being able to communicate, and today he comes back as if nothing had happened. Issei. What god of chaos, what is happening? The god of chaos tells you not to forget that the spiritual world only protects the most important memories, the memories that mark or define a person. In the end, doing this will simply give Kurumi a false sense of peace, and as I had previously told you, even if you don't alter her memory, the timeline that this Kurumi follows is different from the original. The mind only takes its memories, and the spiritual world creates that new timeline through them and their new decisions, which were influenced by you. In the end she can go several days, weeks, months and even years without hearing from you because you can only access the most important memories. The timeline between memories is lengthening and she is living her life without you. Issei. Shocked, but when she was in her childhood stage and even reached adolescence, I was with her almost all the time. The god of chaos tells you not to compare this new stage with his childhood stage. Children are very impressionable. A child can have more important memories, which define and mark him, than an adult who has completely developed his mental state. The mind of a child does not discard anything from their memories, for them all memories are valuable. Even if they forget it remains somewhere in their mind and heart. On the other hand, an adult knows how to distinguish when it is an important moment and when it is a moment unnecessary. Issei. That means that I will see Kurumi less and less, reaching a point where it will have been a long time without hearing my voice. The god of chaos says that unfortunately it is correct. Kurumi. Because you have remained silent, Mr. Fairy, you left again. Issei. No, I'm by your side, I will always be by your side. Kurumi. Then because Mr. Fairy hasn't seen me for a long time. Issei. Kurumi, I have problems, a lot of problems, my stay with you will be shorter each time, it will take you a long time to hear from me, it may even take years. Kurumi. If so, then I can help Mr. Fairy with his problems, so we will always be together. Issei. It's not that easy, Kurumi. There are problems that one must solve by oneself, problems that no one can help you with. I find myself in that problem. Kurumi. Because Mr. Fairy has to face those problems alone. Kurumi's tears were shed. Issei looked sadly at that scene and slowly approached her to hug her, although she couldn't see or feel it. However, Kurumi was surprised because she felt a light air around her and the window was closed. Issei. Even if it takes me a long time to see you again, I'll come back. Until then, stay safe. Kurumi. You have to see me again, understood? Issei. Yes, I promise. In that way, Issei continued with her path in her spiritual world, meeting Kurumi less and less, during which many things happened from wars and battles. In the end they reached the climax of their memories. Issei. How long has it been since I saw Kurumi? The god of chaos says that the last memory was where she had barely turned 15. This last memory of her is the one that ends up defining her completely. It is where I, god of chaos, became her sponsor and she killed a god. Thank you in my power. Therefore here I would be 17 years old. Issei. Counting since she was 15, she has spent 3 years without seeing me. That's when Issei admired Kurumi's final fight against a god. Issei. The god isolated reality by creating a barrier so as not to affect the world. I didn't think that a messiah could kill a god. The god of chaos says it is difficult but possible. You don't need to be a god to kill one, after all you are living proof of it. Issei. True. In the end Issei admired the final battle, culminating in the defeat of a god. Kurumi was weak from the battle, her body was staggering, but at that, Issei approached to speak. Kurumi was weak from the battle, her body was staggering, but at that, Issei approached to speak. Kurumi. It was difficult, but in the end I did it. If it had not been for the sponsorship of the god of chaos, maybe I would not have made it. Issei. Kurumi. Kurumi. Shocked that voice, Mr. Fairy. Issei. I was watching everything. I didn't think it was a good idea to talk in the middle of the battle. Kurumi. She wouldn't have worried, her voice would have encouraged me more, but 3 years went by without seeing each other. I guess we have a lot of things to talk about. Issei. Yes. At that Issei's voice became sad. It was the last memory of her and therefore after this there was nothing. That means a farewell. Kurumi. Mr. Fairy, because you sound sad. Issei. Kurumi, you have become a strong girl, you have grown a lot. I have come to appreciate you a lot in this time together. Yes, after all, even if it is just minutes outside here were years, I was able to run directly to the goal. But I decided to help her. Kurumi. Mr. Fairy, what is she talking about? Issei. Kurumi, this is our farewell. Kurumi. He. It means that he will be gone for a long time, but he will come back. Issei. No. Kurumi. Why? Because she comes back to tell me that because she can't stay. Maybe I didn't try hard enough. Issei. Kurumi, I come from a very far away place and I can't stay here because there are rules that prevent me from doing so. Kurumi. Rules. Issei. Yes. Kurumi. Please don't go, I don't want you to go. Issei. Even if I leave you can always keep me with you in your heart. Kurumi. I want to see Mr. Fairy again. I want to live with him. I want to start a family with him. I want to marry him because I can't. Issei. I'm sorry, I really am. Kurumi. Although it takes me years, I'm going to see Mr. Fairy again. Issei. Kurumi. Kurumi. I'm not going to give up. You taught me that. He taught me to laugh, smile and cry with happiness. He guided me in my most difficult moments. He knew how to tell me what was necessary to stay alive. You taught me everything. You taught me everything. And the most important thing to me, you were more family than my own family. So please don't ask me to give up. Because I love you. If you say that I gave up, it's like saying that these years together were nothing. Issei. That's it. Kurumi. Therefore wait for me, I'll see him again. Everything would begin to fade, leaving Kurumi's smile and tears visible for the last time. When everything faded completely, Issei was in front of the soul chain. Issei. Hey God of Chaos. After the fight, what was Kurumi's? The God of Chaos says that she was trapped, locked up and used as a war machine of mass extermination. When she finished a job they put her to sleep, and then when she was needed again, she would wake up for 2 years like this. The current Kurumi is 19 years old. Issei. I see, then the soul chain can go to hell. At that moment, with a single blow from Issei, he would destroy his soul chain. Immediately the spiritual world began to shake and Issei was taken out of there. The God of Chaos says the work is completed. 2 hours later, Issei was on the ground just waking up. Kurumi. I see that you finally wake up. Issei. I can't move my body. Kurumi. There are 2 of us. The God of Chaos says that they are side effects of entering the spiritual world and destroying the soul chain. We will return to normal soon. Issei. That's good news. Their bodies looked at the starry sky. Kurumi. Yes, it seems that everything went well, isn't it, Mr. Fairy? Issei. Ha, you really remember that? Kurumi. I remember in my mind how everything really happened, and I also remember the reality that you altered. Issei. Wow, how is it? Kurumi. Nothing erases the true past where I suffered, but the reality you created gave me great happiness. I only have to ask you why you got so upset. Issei. Because I could understand your pain. Once I lost everything, then I fell into despair and madness. If I regained my sanity, it was thanks to a certain dragon. Possibly without him, who knows and what would become of me. Kurumi. It must have been horrible to lose everything. Issei. Yes, but I got it back, although now I face the consequences of my actions for the decisions I made to get everything back. Kurumi. I see. Issei. Also, unlike me, I could only give you a false sense of peace. Kurumi. You're wrong about that. Issei. Hey. Kurumi. The peace and happiness I feel are not false. The truth is that no matter what I did in the past, it was not my destiny to be in that family, just as it was not my destiny to be loved by them in the end. Your decisions were based on my well-being. Issei. I guess that's true. Kurumi. Those were years you spent there helping me, summarized in hours in the real world. I want to tell you 2 things. Issei. I hear you. Kurumi. The first is that no one had ever done anything for me. Everything I experienced since I was born was violence, so for giving me those happy moments I say thank you. Issei. You have nothing to thank. Kurumi. The second is that thanks to you I could see that my wish is not impossible. I can be happy and have a family. Issei. I'm glad to hear that. Kurumi. But I want to have that family with you, Mr. Fairy. No. Issei. Issei. Hey. Kurumi. I want to be with you, with the only person who did not use violence with me, who did not see me as a monster, did not want to kill me or saw me as a weapon. Could you let me be with you? Issei. With all the years I spent with you, inside I would have to be stupid to say no. Yes, Kurumi. Yes, I accept you. Kurumi's tears overflowed as a smile formed on his face and his cheeks flushed red. Kurumi. Thank you, Issei. In that way I, Hyodo Issei, found the last member of my family and completed my chessboard. Kurumi Pawn X6. Chapter 41. Movements. It was daylight, it had barely dawned, the birds were singing, and Issei was kneeling on the ground in front of all the women of his family, who exerted great pressure. On the other hand, Kurumi was looking at this situation confused. Kurumi. This is normal here. The God of Chaos laughs at the situation. Issei. This situation doesn't make me laugh. Roswis. Let's recap. Issei went to sleep with all of us last night. Ilmenhold. Then mysteriously disappeared. Ravel. And all of us realized this only when we woke up. The Fae. Since it is not common for Issei to get up first, we quickly become alarmed. Toka. Because we thought something had happened to him. 02. Many of us get hurt by running an alarm. Ikaros. But when we calm down and we're going to go out in search of him. Enya. Right when you open the door. Ingvald. We found Issei with a woman that no one here knows. Roswis. Yes, it all happened like that, or maybe we were wrong. Office. No, that's how it all happened. Lilith. True. Roswis. You have something to say in your defense. Issei. Because I feel that no matter what I answer, the only one who won't win is me. After that I had to give a big explanation, a lot of promises of appointments, and my free schedule for the year was almost empty. For some reason I was afraid that he had gotten rid of me so easily. 3 hours later. Roswis. So Kurumi, how do you feel? Kurumi. Nothing different. Am I really a demon now? The God of Chaos says that your essence has changed, a sign that you are no longer human, also that now your power has increased. Kurumi. It's interesting. Roswis. Those were your last evil pieces. Issei. That's right, with this I finally complete my family. Roswis. What do you plan to do with Kurumi now? Issei. Well, I think I should explain the school rules. Roswis. Size, I will make the preparations with Ravel. Issei. I really appreciate it. Roswis. There is nothing to thank, it is my job as a member of your family and as your wife smiles. Issei. Ha, I'll have a very busy night tonight. Elsewhere, in the Shining Palace where Zet lived, he was once again destroying everything, while his evil friend watched the scene with disappointment. Evil. Enough Zet, no matter how rich you are you gain nothing by destroying your things, not to mention it doesn't completely vent your anger. If you really want to vent, that's what living people are for. After his words, Zet would stop and sit in an armchair. Zet. Damn, what went wrong? Evil. I told you it wasn't a good idea from the beginning. Zet. What do I do now? The followers of the goddess Eden are going to kill me. Evil. That Kurumi girl couldn't free herself from the soul chain. Zet. But our connection with her was cut and we are the only beings who could feel her presence because we were the ones who freed her. Evil. Certainly, but that doesn't mean she freed herself. Zet. Then. Evil. It can also mean that they have killed her. After all, you said that she could do what she wanted in that world, and if she did it and attracted the attention of many. Zet. You say that she caught the attention of the forces of that world and she was killed. Evil. It is the most logical thing to think about in this situation. At the end of the day she could first choose to have fun and then fulfill her mission. In the end that cost her her life. Zet. Ha. If what you say is true then nothing changes for me. In the end I lost a valuable weapon for the wars because of my revenge. Toka and Ikaros are still alive. I'm basically in shit. Evil. Not exactly. Zet. What? Evil. We certainly freed Kurumi and lost her. The gods and servants of the goddess Eden could judge us, but that is only if they find out. Zet. You are suggesting lying, that would be a noose around our neck. Evil. I could be accused as an accomplice just for not stopping you. The situation also affects me. As a friend I make you the best suggestion. Zet. Deceive the gods, we will really get away with it. Evil. Don't worry, since the moment we went for Kurumi I prepared my men to cover all our traces and have a backup in case something went wrong, so we never went for Kurumi. Zet. But what will happen when they discover that she is no longer in her cell? Evil. Naturally this will alarm everyone, including the gods, but there will be no way to relate it to us. We are safe. Zet. Ha. Ha 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 ha. Hell, having a friend like you is the best. Evil. Now, we must remain completely still and cooperative when it comes to searching for them. Even now we just have to relax and wait for them to notice. Zet. So be it, when this storm finally passes over us I will personally go after those two damn slaves. 2 days later. 2 days had passed since Kurumi joined Issei's family and he was in his Mr. Mystery suit. Of course, the members of his family, upon seeing this, went to ask him what was happening. Issei. Well, it seems that everything is ready. Toka. Is something wrong? 02. Is darling going to fight? Issei. Don't worry, I'm not going to do that, in fact I'm going to meet a friend. Roswis. A friend. It's someone who doesn't remember you, right? Issei. Correct. But those words Eddie left, leaving the girls alone. Ravel. Roswis, do you know who it could be? Roswis. Well, it certainly can't be anyone from the occult club, so the few people that come to mind that Issei uses the word friend with would be Vali and Azazel. The Fae. Vali knows his identity, he wouldn't have to wear that costume, so he must be Azazel. Roswis. Certainly, but he asked me that he will have to talk to the with Issei. When Issei arrived at Azazel, he found that his meeting place was a restaurant. He entered without further ado, and upon seeing him he sat down in front of him. Azazel. You know you have to diversify your outfits, isn't it boring to always wear the same clothes every day? Issei. What can I tell you, it's more comfortable to dress in something you're already used to. Azazel. Well, I won't argue with you about that. Issei. You chose an unusual meeting place, is this place really safe to talk without problems? Azazel. Don't worry, although it looks like a normal restaurant, it is under the management of Grigori. Under him there is a magic circle that silences all the sound that comes from inside to the outside, meaning that you could scream and no one outside would hear you. Of course, only we activate it in meetings like you are. Issei. It's certainly something peculiar, but I don't dislike it. Azazel. So, what do you want? Issei. Currently I have recruited all the members of my family without leaving any evil piece, therefore I would like to call one of the greatest experts on this topic. After his words, Azazel didn't have to think much to know what those words meant, he just smiled and laughed a little. Azazel. Hahaha, I see, your requests are always risky. It's really funny to see how you ask me to bring a demon king to Kuo City like it's nothing, but it's certainly something I can do. Issei. Will you do it? Azazel. If you want to consult with him, it's because you suspect something strange is happening, right? Issei. Yes. Azazel. I will do it, however I have 2 conditions. First I must be present with him. Issei. Okay. Azazel. Second, will you help me with a particular topic about a private investigation? Issei. What kind of research? Azazel. I'll tell you when I'm done. Issei. Well, I will give you a paper with a magic teleportation circle. It will take you directly to a particular part of my residence. Azazel. I guess you do this to avoid revealing something about yourself. Issei. Correct. Azazel. Fine, I'll see you in 3 days. 3 days later, in the training room of Issei's residence, his family was waiting for Azazel. It was not long before his arrival with the Demon King Ajuka Beelzebub. Ajuka. This is really interesting. Issei. Surprised. Ajuka. Very much, you have peculiar members. Azazel. When I told him you wanted to see him, he easily accepted due to his curiosity. Ajuka. Your members are as peculiar as those of the Gremory family, it is as if you were part of their family. Issei. Surzichas and Rias have peculiar tastes, in my case I was just lucky to meet them. Ajuka. Then that luck is enviable. Issei. I won't deny it. Azazel. Well, I think we should go for the main topic of the visit. Issei. Right, girls, this person here is the Demon King Ajuka Beelzebub. He will check his evil piece and see if there is anything strange with them. Roswis. Something strange. Issei. I've been thinking about something for a long time and today I want to confirm it. Ikaros. Are we okay, Issei? Issei. Yes, don't worry, in the end it's a positive thing. Ajuka. Please everyone line up in a straight line, I will check his evil piece, one by one. At that, everyone followed Ajuka's orders and he was surprised by what he saw. When he finished, he met with Issei, Azazel and the members of his family to give his results. Issei. Well, Ajuka. First of all, did you know about this? Issei. Possibly I sensed it. Ajuka. Then let me tell you that your intuition did not fail you. Some of the girls in your family who have had normal evil pieces have managed to have their pieces become mutation pieces. Azazel. Are you serious? Ajuka. I wouldn't play with something like that. Toka. That's a bad thing. Roswis. No, on the contrary, you could say it's good. Issei. The mutation piece or the mutation pieces are a bug in the evil piece system that was saved for fun. Kurumi. Why would a mistake be saved for fun? Ajuka. The demons found it curious and fun, added to the fact that it did not negatively affect anyone, on the contrary it was positive. Issei. The evil piece can revive a dead person by transforming them into a demon, so they do not necessarily have to be alive. Let's test the pawns. If to revive a person more than one piece is required, then using a mutation piece would be the best enough to reincarnate that person, instead of having to use multiple pieces. Azazel. In fact, it was considered possible that a normal evil piece could become a mutation piece if certain requirements are met as a result of a significant event, but until now it was just theory. Issei. That theory would be confirmed with me in the future, but since I don't plan on almost dying again, having it confirmed this way isn't bad either. Toka. But which of us have mutation piece? Issei. Right, Ajuka, can you say the names of the girls who now have mutation piece? Ajuka. Sure, these are Toka, Roswis, 0, 2, Ikaros and Kurumi. Issei. Then the rest. Ajuka. For now they remain normal. Issei. Understood. At that time, Azazel, Issei and Ajuka would chat a little before leaving through a magic circle that the Fae provided. The Fae. It's great that most of you have piece mutation. Roswis. But how is it possible? Issei. If I analyze correctly, except for Roswis, all of you are not from this world and had great power. Roswis. But in that case wouldn't you have asked for more than one piece as in the case of pawns? Issei. Not necessarily if the right circumstances are met. For example, Kurumi's state internally was unstable after all. I had broken the soul chain recently. The god of chaos agrees with you, since his energy, mind and soul were in a fluctuating state, he was possibly able to assimilate the 6 pieces with ease, when in reality he could have required more pieces. Later when his energy stabilized, already having the pieces inside of it possibly began to become mutation piece. Roswis. Kurumi managed to convert all of his pieces into mutation pieces. Those 6 pawns would be equivalent to 12 right now. Issei. The case of Ikaros and Toka may be almost similar to that of Kurumi, but different. After all, at the beginning, both of them had an altered mental state and had a bondage collar which I broke, and in the end, it could affect the energy of their bodies temporarily. Roswis. But in my case, why is my rook piece now a mutation piece? Issei. If I have to think about any significant event with you, it would be Loki's business. Roswis. Shocked. Issei. He said that he used the new events of the collapse of dimensions, and when experimenting, he found a dark energy from a different world that has great effects on individuals. Roswis. But you saved me and eliminated that rotten energy. Issei. But what if that energy clung to your soul? Roswis. What? Issei. Not only would it be difficult to detect, it would also be difficult to eliminate. Roswis. I can still have that energy inside me. I could attack the people I love again. Issei. That was caused by Loki, so technically it would be up to you now. Don't see it as something bad, but as a new ability that you must learn to draw and control. Roswis. True, it could be beneficial if I can get stronger and acquire new skills. Issei. However, the only person I don't understand how his piece became a mutation piece is 02. 02. Ah. I forgot to tell you that when I returned to you I had had a battle again in a dimension collapse. Issei. Wedi. 02. Yes, I had forgotten to tell you and I didn't think it was important when I remembered. Issei. But when we met again you didn't have battle wounds. 02. I have a passive regeneration ability that constantly consumes my energy to heal wounds, after all I am a melee fighter. Issei. I said I wasn't going to pressure you to tell me about yourself, but regarding your abilities, you were able to mention it to me. 02. I forgot that too, darling. Smiles. Issei. You will be well, no matter how I see it, this mutation piece thing in the end is beneficial for everyone. Ravel. That's right, I think we can take it easy these days. Roswis. If now we can enjoy our time of peace. Kurumi. Now with my disappearance, no one from my world will make any risky move that means we will have days of peace. Issei. I can certainly be calm these days, besides what can go wrong? But those words everyone would go upstairs to eat something. Elsewhere, in outer space everything was silence and perpetual calm, but from one second to the next, the stars began to blink, reality began to bend, and that was when a huge portal appeared in outer space above planet Earth that had a shape of clock. A figure was shown slowly descending. He stared at the planet for a few moments. That figure, showing itself, gave a sensation of omnipotence and omnipresence. I'm finally here. I didn't think it would take me so long anyway. I've finally come for you. Hyodo Issei from Universe 2. Time is here. Chapter 42. Tranquility. After the events that occurred in my house, from Kurumi's visit to the arrival of Azazel and Ajuka, due to the evil peace issue, Hyodo Issei had to start making some arrangements. These ranged from creating a fake identity for Kurumi to enrolling her in the Kuo Academy, organizing training schedules, meetings, etc. When everything was over, I continued with my classes at the academy and enjoyed my time of peace, although I understood that living temporarily in peace and living in peace are two different things. What do I mean by that? Because it all started in the morning during recess hours at the academy. Asara. Things have been calm lately, don't you think, Issei? Issei. Around this time there are no school events or anything like that, it's normal for everything to be like this. Asara. True, but doesn't it seem a little boring to you? Issei. No, in fact I even find it relaxing. Asara. You talk like you have a difficult life. Issei. Yes, sometimes I talk like that without realizing it, but changing the subject, what do you normally do these days? Asara. I go shopping with my friends. And you? Issei. I go to my friends' houses to play video games, although that is no longer an option. Asara. I heard that they got sick with the flu. How did that happen? It's not the rainy season. Issei. They tried to spy in the women's bathroom, but the girls set a trap and left them in cold water for 2 hours. Asara. Because it doesn't surprise me. So are you planning something at this time? Issei. Millimeters. For now I have no plans. To tell the truth I wouldn't like to be doing nothing either, so I would accept any invitation without squeaking, even if I have to miss the academy for a certain amount of time. At that moment someone approached from behind Issei and Asara. This was Ikaros. Asara. She is one of Mr. Mystery's servants. Ria said that there is no danger in dealing with them. In fact, she encouraged us to establish friendly relations to get along, but it is not that easy for me, unlike Ravel. Or Roswis, that I can clearly feel his honesty with Ikaros. I don't know what to think. Is he up to something? Issei. You're Ikaros, right? Ikaros. Yes. Asara. Have they already started conversations? Issei. In some classes we are groupmates. Asara. I see. Issei. Then Ikaros, may I know what is offered to you? Ikaros. Sure, here. Ikaros would give him a kind of pass, and this would confuse Issei. Issei. This is a VIP pass, for a hotel. Asara. Wait, that hotel is literally facing the sea. It is one of the most luxurious hotels in Japan. Issei. How did you get this? Ikaros. I won it in a raffle. Asara. You must have been very lucky. Ikaros. No, it was just a calculation of probabilities and taking the winning options. Asara. I see. I don't really understand what she said. But I guess she used his superhuman abilities to win. Ikaros. I have a pass too. Issei. I see, but Ikaros, what do you want to tell me with this? Ikaros. I heard your conversation with Asara. You said you would accept any invitation without grinding. Asara. I see, I guess you want Issei to accompany you, a kind of friends outing. Ikaros. No. Asara. Hey. Ikaros. No friends, it's an invitation for a date. Issei and I will be together in that hotel for a week. Issei. What? Ikaros. By the way, Issei, I like you. Asara. Wati. Issei. When I told the girls what they should do, that they didn't know me to avoid suspicion and that they will start a relationship with me from scratch, I should have told them not to be so direct, because this is going to cause problems for me. 2 hours later, in the occult club a meeting was taking place. All the girls had terrifying auras. Gasper. Kiba, this situation is normal. Kiba. No, Gasper, I'm afraid to tell you no. Gasper. Will this affect us? Kiba. Not us, to say I'm afraid for him. Gasper. I see, I certainly feel very sorry for him, it's too much for a human. Rias. So what did Issei say? Asara. I accept, it's not like I had the option to refuse, but I accepted in a very happy way. Rias. I see. Akeno. It is a bit dangerous to accept invitations from strangers, I think Issei is being very irresponsible. Zenobia. We don't know what Mr. Mystery's servants are up to, they probably want to do something bad to Issei, maybe that Ikuro's girl is planning something with him. Asia. If so, we must interfere, we cannot let an innocent human get involved with the supernatural world. Hiba. I think I should act as the voice of reason here or they will start a fight. I would rule out that possibility immediately. Let's remember that Elmenhold, Ravel and Roswis are part of them. If some of the members had bad intentions towards Issei or another student of the academy, we would be notified. None of them are a bad person. And from their entrance they declared that they have no bad intentions. Their only purpose here is to study and acquire more knowledge of the human world. Rias. Kiba is right, they have never presented an aggressive posture, even recently their last servant reported to us. Asia. True, that girl called Kurumi had a strong aura, but I didn't feel any evil on her part. Haneko. If they have no bad intentions, then why would Ikuros ask Issei on a date? Just then Irina walked through the door, she had arrived at the academy a long time ago as sent from heaven and was currently studying there. Irina. Hello guys, how is everyone today? The atmosphere of this place seems very heavy. Kiba. Well, certainly. Asia. We were talking about Hyodo Issei going on a date with Ikuros. Irina. What? Asia. Yes, Zenobia believed that they had bad intentions, but after thinking about it more she discarded that idea, however we don't know why Ikuros invited Issei on a date. Irina. That's it, I'm actually surprised they didn't ask him out sooner. Zenobia. What? Irina. After all, Hyodo Issei is a nice boy, maybe he is not popular like Hyodo, but he is very kind and has helped many students at the academy in some of their work, in fact I have spoken with him a few times and he seems like a good guy, even someone cute. Kiba. By chance the students he has helped include Lord Mystery's servants? Irina. Yes, Toka helped her with that girl in the cooking class, I remember that she tried to eat the raw dough and Issei stopped her. She has seen Ravel and Elmenhold in technology classes, they seem to get along very well. She met Ikuros in classes of history and they formed a group. He is a sports partner of Zenobia and 02 in physical education classes. I think he recently helped the new girl Kurumi get to know the academy. Lastly, he always stays late helping Roswis organize her jobs. Kiba. How do you know all that? Irina. Because I am part of Hyodo Issei's group in most of the classes that I mentioned, in fact I helped Kurumi along with Issei to get to know the academy. Asia. I see. Irina. From what I have seen, the girls like Issei because of his kindness, in fact it seems normal to me that they ask him out, after all that is how lovers' relationships begin. Zenobia. It is incredible that a virgin angel like you, Irina, knows more about these things than us who are demons. Kiba. Although all the girls here are virgin demons. Asper. Then there is no problem, right? At the end of the day Hyodo Issei is only going to have a date with that girl. It is certainly not common for a supernatural being to be interested in a human, but his leader would have already acted if he did not like the idea, so which means there is no problem. Rias. No, we must go to prevent something from happening between them. I say make sure there are no ulterior motives on the part of Ikuros. Akeno. Yes, we don't want Issei to get out of hand. I mean we'll see what Ikuros is up to, and if she could be up to something bad against Issei, we'll stop her. Asia. As Issei's friends we must confirm that it is just a normal date. Irina. Certainly an angel like me should go to see if her love is pure, it would be wrong for her to only be playing with Issei, that would be something unforgivable. Zenobia. Also missing a week of school for a date is unethical. Haneko. We must avoid immoral things, I say help Issei. Asper. Are we going to? Kiba. Kiba. I think that for Issei's safety it is the best, after all he is our friend. Elsewhere, at Hyodo Issei's house, most of the girls were gathered in Toka's room, with the exception of Ikuros. Roswis. Then Ikuros invited Issei on a date. Toka. Yes, I heard the conversation from afar when I saw Ikuros approaching to talk to Asara and Issei. Roswis. First of all, spying is not good. Toka. Toka. I'm sorry. Roswis. That being said, spying is not right, but sometimes it can't be avoided. Kurumi. Ikuros turned out to be very clever. 02. Look, going on a date and being alone with my darling for a whole week is unfair. Roswis. Not even I have had that much time alone with Issei. Ravel. It's something unheard of. Toka. I can't believe that Ikuros will take the lead like that. Elmenhold. I agree. Enya. Certainly. Ingvold. We must do something. Office. But what will we do? Lilith. We can't be so obvious. Faye. Then let's not be, after all we could all use a vacation. Kurumi. What are you saying? Roswis. Maybe. Faye. Yes, you recommend a good place to take a vacation. Smiles. At that, everyone understood Faye's idea, and immediately an evil smile accompanied by a dark aura covered them all. It seemed things were not going to be easy for Issei. One day later, Ikaros and Issei arrived at the hotel. The first thing they did was unpack everything, and then when they finished they went to the beach. There Ikaros and Issei saw that more people had joined this date. Ikaros. Because it doesn't surprise me, well I guess I have to adapt to the circumstances. Kiba. I'm sorry Issei. Asper. God, I don't want to be in his shoes. Issei. How did I end up in this situation? The girls who were wearing beautiful swimsuits went to greet Hyodo Issei directly. Rias. What a coincidence, I didn't think you guys would be here. Akeno. I guess things will be fun. Asia. I hope Issei can join us. Zenobia. It will be fun to spend time together this week. Irina. I hope we don't interrupt something. Asara. Let's play Issei. Kaneko. Would you teach me to swim Issei-senpai? Ravel. It's a fun coincidence, all this is true. Toka. Issei, let's go eat something. Roswis. Girls, be aware that we are in public. 02. We'll just play a little Issei. Ingvald. We can go swimming. Ikaros. Issei must attend to me first, after all we are on a date. The Fae. That's not fair. Ikaros. Elmenhold. A certain Issei must have his free time too. Enya. That's right. In the distance Kuroka, Lilith and Office observed the situation. Office. It's not fair because we can't go. Lilith. Right, we want to go too. Kuroka. Just like me, her presence would cause a problem. Remember that according to the timeline we are still enemies for the factions, that is why I have the role of taking care of them. Office. It's not fair. Kuroka. Don't worry, we will have plenty of time to have fun with our dear Issei. I want him to see my swimsuit. Smiles. Back with Issei. He was looking at the situation and thought, how did it all end like this? Issei. Sighs, well at least nothing else can happen now. But those words, he went to the girls, he had a lot to do and this week was not going to be calm. At the same time, Issei did not realize that someone in the sky was watching him. Time. I found you, now how should I proceed with the person who broke the laws of time? I guess I will decide when I talk to you personally. Hyodo Issei. Issei at that moment did not know that his life was in the hands of this being and that at any moment he could disappear. Chapter 43. Time. The sudden appearance of the entire Grimmery family, along with mine, surprised me in more ways than one. Currently we were all on the beach, each one doing their respective activities. Ikaros. Seriously, you guys are so. Toka. It's unfair that you have Issei for so long. Kurumi. That move was too dirty. 02. You should play cleaner Issei as everyone. Roswis. I agree. Elmenhold. I think you should lower your voice, remember that the Grimmery family is also here. Ravel. True. Ikaros. Next time I won't say where we are going. Toka. Hey Ikaros. Roswis. Sai, you will have your date with Issei anyway, so it doesn't matter if we have dates with him. Ikaros. Sai, okay, however what is the excuse you will give to go out with Issei? I remind you that the Grimmery family is here. At that all the girls turned around and realized the situation. Ravel. It's true, it's too suspicious that we're all approaching Issei. Roswis. Because I didn't think about it before. Toka. The only one who can be affectionate with Issei in broad daylight is Ikaros. Ikaros. Smiles. Good luck to everyone. Kurumi. You will be. Elmenhold. Don't worry, maybe we can't spend the day with Issei like Ikaros, but we can spend the nights. At that all the girls' eyes shone. Issei. Shiver. Suddenly I feel exhausted. Hiba. I feel bad for you because you are in a difficult situation. Issei. Don't worry, it will certainly be exhausting, but spending the day having fun with friends isn't so bad. Hiba. Smiles. Why are you always so positive? Issei. Ha, what can I tell you, I guess when you've seen the bad side of life you know how to identify the good side. Hiba. What does that mean? Issei. Nothing important. Kiba. Nothing important. His words would leave Kiba confused. Kiba for his part felt great sadness for the boy, although he did not know what those feelings were due to. After all, they were not such close friends. However, he did not feel that that was the case. In fact, he felt as if they were friends for a long time. Asper. Kiba, is something wrong? Kiba. No, nothing, we should have fun taking advantage of the fact that we are here. Asper. Yes. At that moment Ikaros approached Issei and took his hand. Issei. Okay. Kaneko. Issei-senpai, teach me how to swim. Ikaros. Me too. Upon entering the water, Issei helped both Kaneko and Ikaros to swim. When she finished she submerged into the water and enjoyed the underwater view. Issei. It is beautiful to see the sea full of life. Albion. I agree. At that moment he could see Ria's underwater, his beautiful figure dazzled him, his eyes met and they greeted each other by waving his hand. Issei. Smiles. Ria's. Smiles. After that Issei came out of the water to walk on the beach. Issei. The view is beautiful, don't you think? Reg. Yes. Issei admired all the people he kept in his heart, how they had fun and laughed together. Issei. Seeing this reminds me of the past. An image of his beginnings in the Gremory family flashes through his head. Greg. They were unforgettable moments. Issei. Yes, now I can make new moments, but I also fear for the future. After all, the only memory I have of the future is one where nothing remains. The lifeless wasteland, the place where the future was transformed, the place where Hyodo Issei lived for a long time before returning to the past. Albion. We no longer have to fear that future, everything is over. Issei. Who knows, with the collapse of dimensions the fate of this world may change forever, possibly leading to its destruction again. Greg. But until now the goddess Eden has made a deal with you, you won't have to worry about them attacking the earth once you fulfill it. Issei. True, but the dimension of the goddess Eden is not the only one. Who knows, and let the other dimensions plan. Eden. That is a very accurate thought, Hyodo Issei. When he heard that voice, Issei was paralyzed for a moment. He recognized that voice, then he turned around quickly, his eyes trembled. The person he saw was a beautiful woman, however, not just any woman. He had seen her in statues, although this was the first. Once he saw her in the flesh, the power he felt from her proved her identity. She was definitely the goddess Eden. Issei. How come? Eden. What's wrong, are you surprised? Issei. Why are you here? Eden. Something has happened and my presence is very important, well, mine and his. God of Chaos. Hello, Hyodo Issei. When Issei turned around again, at first he didn't know who that guy was, however then he felt an energy similar to Kurumi's, then he knew he was the god of chaos. Issei. The god of chaos, you have come to shit if they are here, the girls must have noticed them, I have to calm the situation, I have to. But his words would be interrupted because when he turned around he could see the girls, more specifically he could see the entire place from the water to the paralyzed people. Time had stopped. God of chaos. Don't worry, they won't notice us. Issei. What's happening? Eden. All this is caused by an important guest. Issei. Important guest. Eden. Follow me. Issei would listen to him and begin to walk alongside the god of chaos. Issei. God of chaos, what the hell is happening? God of chaos. Time has come. Issei. What? God of chaos. I told you before about the power of laws. Issei. I remember you said something about that, but you couldn't talk about it. Chaos god. It's because we're not allowed to reveal this information to anyone, but I guess now you're not just anyone. Issei. What does that mean? God of chaos. I think it would be better to start. Issei. Permission, how is that? God of chaos. Laws are quasi-omnipresent, omniscient and omnipotent entities, for example the laws of life and death. It is well known that every mortal or immortal being is born, dies or can die. No one is exempt from death, not even us. It is the same everywhere for life. Issei. Wait, you're telling me that laws are living beings? Eden. As such they are concepts that predominate everything that is and will be, but by a higher interference, they were given a physical body. Issei. What kind of superior interference? Eden. I don't know, it's not like they could tell me. God of chaos. The point is that since laws are the basis of everything, when we want to use a power related to a particular law, this law gives us permission to use its powers. Issei. Do you mean that if the law of time takes away permission from the goddess Eden, she loses her power related to time? God of chaos. Correct, that is why we treat the laws with the utmost respect. After all, most of the powers of the gods come from them. Of course, this depends on the compatibility that a god has with said law. In my opinion, case was compatible with the law of chaos, therefore I control chaos, hence my name, the god of chaos. Issei. How do gods have no other powers apart from those provided by the laws? Eden. Of course yes, however the power of a law is incomparable. Look at me, for example, with the power of destiny, time and reality in my hands, what enemies could confront me? God of chaos. The goddess Eden is right, having the power of a law is clearly an unmatched advantage in combat. In fact, Kurumi, my future successor, could inherit the powers of chaos and be compatible with the law of time. Issei. Shocked you say that she, God of chaos. Yes, she could be more powerful than me in the future. Eden. As long as the god is compatible with more laws, this will give him an incomparable advantage. His position will not be threatened by anyone. God of chaos. So far the only god who is compatible with more than one law is the goddess Eden. Issei. Now I understand why you are the ruler of your world. Eden. I appreciate your mortal praise. Issei. In any case, those powers don't seem that strong to me. After all, you tried to use them against me and they didn't work. Eden. Of course not, you are a walking paradox. Issei. Stops, how do you know that? God of chaos. Time told you, as I told you before, time has come. Eden. When I detected his presence I had to abandon my position as goddess to come personally to investigate. The god of chaos offered to accompany me to know his intentions. Normally the laws do not come in person to the material world, they always spend their time in their respective domains. When we met him he told us that the objective of his visit was you. Issei. I don't understand, what purpose does he have in seeing me? God of Chaos. Not even you know. Issei. I have never made contact with a law. Eden. His words to us were, Hyodo Issei disturbed my domain. Issei. I disturbed your domain. Time. Exactly. At that moment someone positioned himself behind Issei and he emitted a strong murderous aura. Out of instinct he activated his sacred gear and attacked. Bang. Arrest. Hyodo Issei's blow hit the subject's palm, but he was not injured. Issei's blow was easily stopped. When Issei saw the guy clearly, he looked him in the eyes. As he did so his entire body trembled. How long had it been since he had shaken in a fight? How long had it been since he had thought that he had no chance of winning? Eden. Mr. Time, we have to sit down and talk about this. God of Chaos. Issei's actions were out of instinct, please forgive him. Time. Silence. I have not given permission to speak. The god stiffened at his words. Greg. This guy is no joke. Albion. He is a monster. The voices of the heavenly dragons trembled indicating their fear. Time. You would like to know how you have disturbed my Hyodo Issei domain. Issei. This is the time. The pressure it exerts is abnormal. I feel like it's going to break me into pieces. Time. Do you remember the gems? Issei. Shock, don't tell me that. Time. Going against the laws of time by going back to the past, causing fluctuations in space-time that alter the order and events in the timeline of not only this universe, but the other universes of the multiverse. Everything I mentioned above. Which is perhaps not more than enough to disturb my domains. Issei. Shit. Time. I have come to test you, Hyodo Issei. Issei quickly backed away, but it was useless. Time appeared right behind him and attacked him, sending him flying into the sky. Issei. Spits blood. I feel like with every hit he's literally going to kill me. Greg. Mate, this is not the time to think about it too much. Issei. Yes, you are right, I will use all my power against him. At that moment the sky turned a different color. Eden. Mr. Time, please reconsider your attack. Time. Hyodo Issei has to accept the consequences of his actions, so just observe this is between him and me. God of Chaos. But there is no way for him to survive in a fight against you. Time. Like I said, just watch. The great energy began to be felt. The god of chaos and the goddess Eden became alert. Eden. This amount of power is possible for a mortal. God of chaos. I did well in not letting Kurumi face him in the past, but still with all this power it was not enough to face him in time. Time. Smiles. Now let's start. Hyodo Issei, show me what you can do. The song was heard. I am the one who wakes up. I am the one who carries the two celestial dragons. I move forward without hesitation. I never go back. I protect the infinite. I take care of the dreams. I will bring a path full of hope. I will show you a bright future. I will protect the people I love and punish those who dare to hurt them. Balance breaker mode. Dual celestial dragon. Issei. Let's start with this. Law of Time. Chapter 44. Issei versus Time. Shock, 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 burst, 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 burst. The sound of the crashes, the constant explosions, all that was what generated the fight between Issei and Time. However, Issei, who with his power seemed to shake everyone, could not even hurt in Time. For his part, he seemed to be playing with Issei. Issei. What the hell is this guy? Shock, arrest, Time. You are certainly a being with the potential to become supreme, unfortunately you are still very far from reaching that peak. The Impo had stopped the sword that was generated by Issei's transformation with his fingers. He slid his fingers on the sword calmly. Issei for his part pushed his sword to hurt him, but it didn't move. He was using all his strength, but the sword didn't move. Issei. I don't know what this guy is talking about, but what I do know is that I won't currently beat him in strength. On the other hand, the goddess Eden and the god of chaos watched the battle. Eden. If the opponent were a god from our world, do you think Issei would have a chance? God of chaos. Millimeters would surely win against the lower gods in the ranking. Those in the middle position are debatable. They may even be even. Eden. What about the top 10 positions? God of chaos. Certainly with his current ability he does not currently pose a threat to the top 10, but they would have to be ready to lose a limb from their body. Eden. Interesting, that means it has great potential. God of chaos. Do you say that because he has defeated your statues? Eden. The statues do not invoke all my power perfectly, and I also cannot use the powers of time, destiny and reality with him. Practically his existence is very unfair. God of chaos. So you are guaranteed to beat him in a physical confrontation without using those powers. Eden. Just for now. God of chaos. For now. I never thought I'd hear you say that. Eden. This guy has great potential, not everyone can stand up to a law. God of chaos. True, but in the entire battle so far he has not attacked. Eden. I know, if he survives he will definitely be someone with unmatched potential. God of chaos. You said it. If he survives. Back in the battle, Time was still holding Issei's sword and he was struggling to free himself. Time. Well, it seems that I finished analyzing you. Issei. What? Time. I'll play with you a little. Bang. Issei. Spits blood. Time. by the way I play rough. Time alone gave Issei a soft blow and he sent him flying towards an explosion. Issei. Time. You should get out of there. Issei quickly came out and didn't understand what happened until he turned around and saw that he had walked into an explosion. In fact, it was not the only one, many explosions were in the sky, they were paralyzed in time. Then he understood everything, they were the explosions that he had generated when the fight began. Issei. I don't have to think much about the situation, right? After all, you are the time, isn't it? Time. Correct, the explosions have been frozen in time, like everything around them. Issei. Ha, you paralyzed the entire area. Time. No, paralyzed the entire planet. Issei. Shocked that. Time. Fast forward. At that moment, time appeared behind Issei. Issei quickly tried to turn around, but it was too late. With a movement of his hand, time threw him down and buried him thousands of meters underground. Issei. Bleeding shit. Mate. Albion. Resist. The armor was destroyed, it had internal and external wounds, time was very powerful, more than Issei could imagine. With just a few blows he had put him in critical condition. Issei felt powerless against him, he found no flaws in his strength, speed or movements. He wasn't even close to matching her power. Issei. I have fought against many, but this is the first time that I see no possibility of winning. Meanwhile, Eden and Chaos continued to watch the battle. Eden. He's really going to kill him. God of Chaos. Are you seriously worried about that human? Eden. See, of course not, we just have an agreement between us and he cannot die until we fulfill it. God of Chaos. Unfortunately, he doesn't have it easy. Eden. Yes, that movement of Mr. Time was. God of Chaos. A time jump, you can literally go forward in time to a specific place or go back. Eden. It is like teleportation but less predictable, basically Mr. Time can be anywhere he wants. God of Chaos. Some time before he accepted the exchange of blows, or rather the hand-to-hand contact with Issei, but only because he wanted to, now wanting to catch him or even touch him will be almost impossible for him. Eden. The chances of survival are increasingly reduced. God of Chaos. On the other hand, remain patient and wait for Issei to get up. Eden. At the end of everything he must know that the result is the same no matter what Issei does, in the face of an inevitable future, why be impatient? God of Chaos. What does he want to get from him? Eden. Not even I can know what he thinks. God of Chaos. Come on, Issei. You don't need to win, just survive. In the distance, no one noticed that a shadow began to form. But Issei, this one who was several meters away from the ground, was trying to compose himself, his armor was being repaired. Issei. Cough, spits blood. Do you think you can continue? Issei. Well, it's not like I have a choice. Albion. Did you come up with a plan? Issei. With this guy, plans are useless, so I'm going to throw everything I have at him. Your energy wears out quickly when you use this transformation, whatever you are going to do it quickly. Issei. Don't worry, that's how it will be. In the sky time he was waiting for Issei's departure, immediately he felt a torrent of power coming from the ground. Boost. Time. You have increased your power, but in the current state of your body, it does not seem that this increase will last long. Issei. Ascalon. Shock. At that moment a sword would be thrown in time, but he would keep repelling it with his hand. Time. I see. What you are increasing is not only your own power, but also the strength of your weapons. Issei quickly shot into the sky, positioning himself behind time. Issei. Ascalon 2. Time. It's useless. I immediately used his other hand to stop the other sword. Issei. Both of his limbs are actually occupied, although the momentum of the swords remains, he is not stopping them at once, which means that he is confident of being able to stop a third attack, even with his arms occupied. Dividing. At that moment he noticed that his power was being divided and absorbed by Issei. Time. Interesting, it's a shame you can't stand my energy. Issei's armor was breaking, it couldn't withstand the energy absorbed. Issei. I seriously divided his power. Albion. It is because of the difference in power, the amount of energy he has is abysmal, his power would be like a lake and we would be the bucket that took water from that lake. Issei. As long as I can hurt him it doesn't matter. At this rate you will fall to pieces. Issei. It is necessary with Albion's ability to divide power and granted to me, added to yours of doubling my power, I will surely be able to do something to him. Just don't die. Booster. Time. It really is interesting, but will your body resist launching that attack? Issei. Of course. Mate now. Issei started bleeding from his ears, mouth, nose and eyes. He raised his third and final sword, the one summoned with transformation, and quickly lowered it. Issei. Dragon slash. The goddess Eden and the god of chaos admired the punch, it was a powerful punch that was bending space. For the first time in the entire combat, he was surprised by that action, however he quickly counterattacked. Time. Temporary pause. Issei. This can't be. Issei's attack was stopped in time as if it were nothing, Issei quickly collapsed in the air and fell towards the ground quickly. Time. It's over. God of chaos. This is bad. Eden. Seriously, it will end like this. Issei was vomiting blood, there was nothing else he could do, watching him approach was like watching death. Time. Sometimes it makes me laugh when they compare me to my brother Death. Issei. Cough cough. Time. Sometimes there are inevitable futures. Hyodo Issei. Shooting. Arrest. God of chaos. Shit. Eden. How she freed herself. Time. I guess I should have hoped that you could free yourself from the pause in time, after all that is proof that you are one of the few people who have been blessed by me, now that I think about it that would make me your father, no. Do you believe it, Kurumi? You could see how Kurumi had fired a bullet at him in time, but he stopped the bullet in the air. Kurumi. My whole family was a bunch of unfortunate people, are you the same? Time. Everyone must take responsibility for their actions, sometimes that responsibility is very hard. Kurumi. Then you won't mind that I accepted part of that responsibility, right? God of chaos. Kurumi, stop. Kurumi. I'm sorry, God of chaos. But I won't let Issei die, after all he is the only person in the world who has given me love. God of chaos. You will be. Issei's body was trembling, his vision was blurred, and he could barely move. He heard voices and recognized Kurumi's perfectly. He should have moved but he couldn't. He immediately collapsed on the floor. His body was in a serious state. Issei. Kurumi, don't do it. Kurumi. I hope you don't mind that I have made preparations. Immediately the shadow that began to form long ago in the distance was visualized before the eyes of time, thousands of Kurumi clones came out of it, they immediately attacked in time. Time. Well, I'll finish this quickly. Soon he began to rapidly massacre them. Kurumi. Even if I die thousands of times I will protect Issei. Kurumi stood in front of hundreds of her corpses. Time. Unfortunately your time is up. But those words, time set off and killed all the clones, even subduing the real Kurumi. God of chaos. Kurumi. Kurumi. Aya. Eden. Do not intervene, what happens now we cannot avoid it, you must know that no one can go against the laws, they are forces of nature. At that time, Issei, who was in an emaciated state, heard Kurumi's screams. Issei. Kurumi is in danger, I have to help her, but I can't move. Slowly Issei closed his eyes and entered a dream, he had lost a lot of blood, so it made sense that he would become unconscious. Inside his dream he was in that apocalyptic future where there was nothing left next to the DXD. Issei. I'm tired. Big Red. Let's leave it here today. Issei. In this part of the training because he focused me on the sword and magic we know that I have no talent in these areas. Great Red. Precisely for this reason, when you return to the past you must defeat a very strong enemy. To do so, you must train in all areas to be able to react to all situations. You must return to the past being the strongest to guarantee victory. Issei. That's only if death doesn't have the gems. Big Red. Well, I'm sure you'll find a way to win if it comes to that. Issei. How long will it take? Big Red. Maybe thousands of years of perfecting the areas you're incredibly bad at. Issei. How flattering. Big Red. Issei, you are the only hope to change this future, honestly you have a lot of pressure on your shoulders, but I know you will get ahead. I remember that after that the days were weeks, the weeks became months, and in the end thousands of years had passed. In all that time I only trained and had the Big Red to talk to, curiously he had become a great friend to me, almost a father so to speak. Issei. I am officially a high-level swordsman and magician, I should be the one who holds the title of Red Dragon God. Big Red. Don't be arrogant boy, you still have a long way to go. Issei. Lose that title belongs to you. Great Red. Who knows, maybe one day more dragon gods will be born. Issei. Vali wanted to defeat you and be the white dragon god, maybe when I fix everything there will be a new dragon god. Big Red. There certainly will be. Issei. Is something wrong? Big Red. No, nothing. That day I felt a deep sadness coming from the Big Red, I didn't understand why. Issei. 101. Big Red. Issei, can I ask you a question? Issei. Sure, 102-103. Big Red. If one day I were to leave or disappear, what would you think? After that question, Issei stopped his training. Issei. Millimeters I don't know, until now everything you've done has been to help me, so if one day you disappeared it must be because you have a good reason. Big Red. Haha, you are certainly interesting, maybe in the future I can see you become a dragon god. Issei. Don't exaggerate, even if I come back as the strongest, being a dragon god is on another level, office, and you were born as dragon gods, gods were born well in different ways, honestly, what does it take to be a dragon god? Big Red. It's a bit complicated, but it depends a lot on one's nature. I continued with my training, 8 months later I had improved even more, and then on the last day of the 8th month, I saw the Big Red for the last time. Big Red. You have made a lot of progress, you even know how to find your own flaws in your skills. Issei. That way I can polish myself to the maximum. Big Red. Looks like you'll be fine alone. Issei. That's right. Big Red. Smiles. Hey Issei. Issei. Yes. Great Red. I will ask you to take good care of the world when you return, so never give up. Issei. Smiles. Take it for granted. After that day I never saw the Big Red again, in fact I don't remember what happened. Back to reality. Time was finishing with Kurumi. Kurumi. Damn. Time. It's over. Bang. Shock. Kurumi. Hey. At that moment something came between the time strike and Kurumi. When they saw who it was, they remained silent. Time. This is. As long as Kurumi was shocked, the god of chaos and goddess Eden was speechless. Your little dragon that is born in the darkness. You see the light for the first time and you get scared, but you immediately take flight. You fly the vast skies. You looked at the sky for a long time and you liked it. You want heaven so much. Oh little dragon, you realized who you are, you realized your truth. You were born to fly the skies and rule them. Fear not little dragon, who go be. You who were born in darkness with nothing, your name you will write in the world, and your eternal mark you will leave. Wake up little dragon, it's time to grow up. Wake up little dragon because you will become a god. Roar loudly little dragon, for the world calls you. Welcome to the Dragon God world. Issei. Good morning world. Chapter 45. Dragon God. In front of Kurumi lay Issei standing, he had made time to let her go, and he had stood between her and the blow that he was going to give her. Her presence surprised her, the air she gave was different, her atmosphere had changed in fact, her questions flooded her. One of them was how she had been able to move when her body was in a terrible state, in fact she continued to be until she realized something. The blood had stopped coming out, the wounds were closing and cauterizing on their own. Time. It's the first time I've seen something like this. Who are you Hyodo Issei? Shock. Shock. In the blink of an eye, Issei had attacked in time, but he defended himself perfectly. Kurumi. What's happening? Time. Tell me something, why don't you raise your head Hyodo Issei? At that Issei raised his head and showed how his eyes had changed, his face began to become dragonified. Kurumi looked at the scene surprised and scared. On the other hand, both the goddess Eden and the god of chaos had no words. Eden? What does this mean? Chaos god? I don't think he's conscious. Eden? What? God of chaos. Leaving aside the physical change he undergoes, his eyes are empty. I think that as soon as the physical change occurred, more precisely when he spoke, he lost consciousness again. Eden? That means he's fighting in his sleep. God of chaos. You could say. At that moment the god of chaos moved his hand and brought Kurumi to his side. Kurumi. But what are you doing? I have to go help Issei. God of chaos. He destroyed you in a matter of seconds, but for Issei I would have been left without my only messiah. Kurumi. But, God of chaos. None of us have the power to oppose him, not even the goddess Eden. Kurumi. Here she is. Eden. Interesting, so she is the girl you chose. God of chaos. That's right. Eden. You were lucky, she is someone with a promising future. Kurumi. Not counting the god of chaos, I haven't seen any god in the flesh for a long time, I didn't expect that the next god I saw would be the central figure of our world. God of chaos. Kurumi, this calamity, Issei must face it alone, after all, one must take responsibility for one's mistakes. The three stood watching the battle that was going to be fought. Time and Issei stared at each other, neither of them moving. Then in the blink of an eye they both clashed their fists, the blow of time destroyed Issei's hand, exploding it into pieces. However, his hand regenerated from bone to flesh. Time. It's like I'm going through a metamorphosis. Shock, shock, shock. The fist bumps between them continued. In Issei's mind he was floating in an infinite void while she heard voices. Issei. Because I feel calm. Never despair and move forward. Like a bird that takes flight. Like the breeze that can't be caught. Time. Speed is increased. Shock, shock, bang. Time would hit Issei in the face 3 times with such force that it would destroy his face, but it quickly began to heal. Your little one who traveled to countless places. You met the stars and you went even beyond everything. How did you feel? Issei. How did I feel? Shock, bang. The battle between Time and Issei continued with ferocity. Time. Every time I hurt him or destroy a part of his body, he regenerates and attacks me with more intensity, he is transforming into something. Shock. Kurumi, the goddess Eden and the god of chaos, watched the fight in shock. Kurumi. He is gaining ground. God of chaos. Yes. Maybe him surviving even the confrontation with Lord Time is not as far-fetched as I thought. Eden. Something strange is happening with his body, although externally he shows changes, my eyes can see that most of the changes are happening inside him. Kurumi. What kind of changes? Eden. I don't know how to describe them, I have never seen anything like this, I can only say that the energy in her body is moving faster and faster. Meanwhile, Issei's consciousness continued floating in that void while he continued hearing voices. You don't know how you felt. Issei. No, there were too many feelings that I can't choose one. Who says you have to choose? Issei. Otherwise I choose how I can respond. Accept them all, feelings never lie to you, walk towards the truth. Issei. What is that truth? Whatever you believe it to be it love, power, even destruction, your truth is what you are and will be. You look in the mirror and what do you see? A human or dragon? Issei. There is a difference. The human can be a beast full of anger, and the dragon can be seen as human. The two can be the same because you see them as the same. What is a dragon? Issei. What is a dragon? You questioned some time. At that, Issei's body, who was fighting in automatic mode, had stopped. Time to see this, analyze the situation in more detail. Time. When the multiverse was created I knew an infinite number of things because I was at the beginning of everything, but this is the first time I see this. I asked myself if that person was aware that this would happen at some point. I probably didn't know that would happen. There is no way that he would not have predicted it, because everything that was born in the multiverse is his creation. The question is, what do you want to create in this universe? Tell me, you are surely observing everything. What is going to be born here? Time's sight turned to the sky, at which the image of a golden eye appeared briefly before disappearing, and Time smiled. Kurumi. What was that? Chaos God. I have no idea, but it was felt that he is something above Lord Time. Eden. Maybe another law or something else. Time with a smile looked at Issei, who did not move. Time. True, even if something is going to happen, that should not matter to me because my duty is to fulfill the objective of my arrival. At that moment a large sphere of power began to accumulate in the hand of Time. Kurumi. This is impossible, it still has more power. God of Chaos. Currently he wasn't taking Issei seriously, so he attacked as lightly as he could. Now things have changed. Eden. He has drawn about 10% of his power. Kurumi. That's 10%. God of Chaos. It is normal if we take into account that he is the law of time. At that, Issei's body began to move slightly, something was happening inside his mind. Issei. It's a dragon. Everyone I met said different things. The dragon is a symbol of power, the ruler of the heavens. They are arrogant beasts, dangerous beings, a being who is on top of everything. They are kind. We fight to prove supremacy. Oh little dragon, you listened to everyone's opinions, but you never thought for yourself about your answer, about your truth. Issei. No, but because I didn't think of the answer. Little dragon, deep down you knew that if you answered that question, the answer would become part of you, your truth. Issei. I the dragons are I. Oh my little dragon, do not be afraid to grow. I will ask you one more time. What dragon are you? Issei. I am. At that moment the infinite void began to break, the stars filled the place. Meanwhile outside Time the battle was about to end. Time. Hyodo Issei, let's see if you can make it to the end. The sphere of power emitted great energy, and this energy began to accumulate in the hand of Time. First it expanded until it made a gigantic sphere, and then it compressed until it became tiny like a bullet. Kurumi, Eden and Chaos saw the attack and knew that it was certain death to receive that attack. Kurumi. That's it. God of Chaos. A certain death for Hyodo Issei. Eden. Time is passing. How far you want to take this mortal? Time aimed at the motionless and inert body of Hyodo Issei. Time. When you traveled in time without permission, you caused a lot of damage. However, my original intention is not to kill you. My original intention was to give you tests and challenges. At that, Kurumi, the goddess Eden and the god of Chaos were surprised by his words. Kurumi. Then why did you attack? Because you fight with him. Kurumi screamed, desperately demanding answers as he trembled and tears came out of his eyes. Time. I meditated a lot while getting here. I thought about thousands of tests and challenges, but none of them convinced me. I didn't understand why at the beginning, until I saw Hyodo Issei. I inexplicably felt that I would not be satisfied with only tests and challenges. Then I understood that for the first time I had a whim. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown in left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.